I asked my buddy Gastel to list his top 197 favorite games. So he meticulously went through Pub Meeple to rank them one against the other. We've narrowed it down to his top 10. We're going to go through those live with you. And then after that, we'll take a look at his whole 197 favorite board games here on Legendary Tactics.
Yeah, that took me 3 days.
I'm not surprised. Now, why wouldn't you just round it up to 200? Could you not find 3 more games? 197, really?
I actually cut a lot of my games out of the list, so...
They just weren't worthy?
They weren't worthy of actually comparing, sort of thing.
Fair. Okay, well, in some of the questions we're going to get to later are, what game ranked 197? What was your worst ranked game? We'll get to that. First, a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, Noble Knight Games. If you're like Gastel here and you've discovered that you really would like to sell some of your games that didn't even crack your top 100, Noble Knight will buy or trade for your games. And they've got a huge collection, one of the world's largest selection of games, so you can be sure that you never have an empty space on your shelf. Let's take a look. So we've narrowed it down. These were the top 10 on that list.
Right.
We're gonna have them battle head to head, and this list may turn out slightly different from the one you created.
I'm almost positive it will.
But let's see how we do. So our first battle here, we've got Great Western Trail versus War Story Occupied France. I haven't played this one, but I played this with you and loved it. So.
Great Western Trail, fantastic Euro game. I'm gonna give it to War Story though.
Nice.
It might be the newness, but I also think that War Story, just a slightly more slicker system.
I love that game. It was my favorite game from 2024. Very cool. Okay, Commands and Colors Napoleonics versus Neuroshima Hex, and you're doing the Moloch edition.
The Year of Moloch, right.
Year of Moloch. Okay.
So Command and Colors Napoleonics is one of my absolute favorite games. I like the whole Command and Colors, Memoir 44, Battle Lore, all the different games that have the same sort of system. I just love that system. I'm going to have to give it to Command and Colors Napoleonics.
Very nice. Okay, 2 very different games here. We've got Scythe, which is a classic war game, bit of an engine builder.
Yeah.
And Joyride Turbo, which I had the chance to play with you just recently.
Yeah.
Racing game.
Racing game. Again, I mean, you've picked my top 10, so all of them are hard because they're all bangers.
That's right.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with Scythe, though.
Now, is that because it's more of a long-term game rather than one that you're enjoying right at the moment?
Maybe a little bit of that. Scythe has a very slick system, and while I think Joyride has a slick system, I think if I was to play 10 games of them, I would want to play an 11th of Scythe, but I'd probably want to pack up Joyride Turbo sort of thing.
Great rationale. Back to War Story. How does it compare against Fresco? Again, oh man, you've got a lot of eclectic taste on your list.
Yeah, well, Fresco is one of my favorite Euros of all time.
He's going to say this for every game. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, they really are.
They really are my favorite games.
It's a bit painful to try and pick one that's better than the other.
I think I'm going to go with Fresco. I like the time mechanism in it that just makes each turn sort of very dynamic.
It might last a little more replayability on Fresco than on War Story.
Yeah, because it's an old game and I still want to play it sort of thing, right?
Very good. Well, if I were picking, this is an easy one for me, War of Whispers. I like that game a lot more than Brass. Most of you probably haven't heard of War of Whispers, but a fun little indirect war game where you're more bidding on control for different factions.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm with you with War of Whispers, which is interesting because I don't really consider myself a war gamer, but it seems like the war games are doing well right now.
They really are. Okay, Brass. Wow, not getting a lot of love from you right yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
But we're talking top 10.
That's
I mean,
true.
Worst comes to worst, it's my 10th favorite, right?
Yeah, that's of all time. Commands and Colors Napoleonics is up again. This time we have Dungeons and Dragons Wrath of a Charlatan. Now, I haven't heard of this one. Is it... it's not a regular Dungeons and Dragons. This is more a thematic board game.
Well, you do have characters but this doesn't have the role-playing aspect to it. It is more of a classic board game, but I have some fantastic memories of Wrath of a Charlatan, flying along a hall while the dragon is flying along behind us, shooting fireballs at us while we're on a flying carpet trying to get away. It was great. Napoleonic still wins.
Does it? Okay.
Well, it's got the strategy that I want to play.
Yep. Okay. More meat there. Now, Neuroshima versus Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, Year of Moloch. Now, we've played Neuroshima Hex.
We have. I enjoyed it, actually. You tuned me into that one.
And I like how quick it is. Wrath of Ashardalon, you're setting it up, you're playing. It's a big game. It's lots of components. It's lots of things to put together. I think I'm going to go with Neuroshima Hex here.
Nice. You really can't go wrong on this list.
No, I can't. They're all good.
Fresco versus Scythe.
Tough again. A Euro versus a Euro war game, but I'm going to go Scythe.
Nice, yeah. Beautiful artwork inside too. That gives it the edge.
It's one of the reasons why I picked up that game in the first place.
This is a brand new game from 2024. Joyride Turbo again.
Versus Fresco.
Two totally different games.
Wow. Like, I don't even know. Like, if you asked me this 10 times, I'd have 10 different answers, even though it's only 2 different possibilities.
So you can only put one on your shelf and keep it there forever. The other you have to give away to me. Which one do you take?
Would you invite me over to play that other game?
Yes.
I'm going to keep Joyride.
Okay.
Keep Joyride.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's strong because I know how much you like Fresco.
Yeah, I love Fresco.
Very cool. Commands and Colors again versus War of Whispers. We might be battling for a little number 1 and 2 here.
I think this is 1 and 2. I really do feel like this is 1 and 2, and I'm gonna stick with Napoleonics.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I think War of Whispers beats Neuroshima Hex.
I think it does too. I love with War of Whispers, it's that circular board, and it just feels when you pull it out, it's a fresh game.
And with 4 players, everybody, you don't quite know what people are trying to do, but you're starting to get the idea that this person likes this faction and this person dislikes this faction, and
suddenly you've been like trying to crush one faction all game long, and you pivot, and suddenly you're like cheering for them, and so there's those fun kind of shifts or paradigm shifts in the game.
Those great moments. I'm going to go with War of Whispers here.
Nice. I feel like I'm kind of convincing you to pick it.
No, I think I was there already.
I'm going to stay neutral on this one. Brass Birmingham, BGG's greatest game of all time, apparently, versus Neuroshima Hex.
I've played a lot more Neuroshima Hex. Like, I've played hundreds of games of Neuroshima Hex. You're never going to play hundreds of games of Brass Birmingham. It's just too big a game to do. But sometimes I just want to play a really heavy Euro, and I'm going Neuroshima Hex, though.
Wow, nice. Dungeons and Dragons faces off with Brass.
Objectively, Brass is a better game. But Wrath of Ashardalon,
you had a great experience.
I've had great experiences with. Whereas Brass Birmingham more has that brain burn, and you're really satisfied with your engine as it gets going. But Wrath of Ashardalon has dragons.
Yes, okay, that's fair.
So there you go.
Command and Colors versus Scythe. Oh, this could be another contender. These are top 3.
This is top 4 at the very least. No, I'm going with Napoleonics. I love the game. I love the game.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to play this with you because I've never played it.
Yeah. Well, have you played Memoir 44?
I have. Yeah, you played it with me.
Okay. Well, it's the same game.
Is it really? Okay. This one, for some reason, because the artwork seems much more complicated or higher level. It's GMT. Memoir 44 seems a little lighter.
It's Days of Wonder for Memoir 44. Napoleonics is a soupçon more complicated, but it's almost more complicated in how it's presented.
Okay.
All right, here we've got a War of Whispers and Scythe, 2 war games, but
apples to apples here.
I would play a War of Whispers. A 4-player, I'd play a War of Whispers over Scythe.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Oh, again, I've played a lot of Neuroshima Hex, but I can't see Scythe falling that far.
It's getting farther down the list.
It is getting farther down the list.
Go with your gut.
I'm going with Neuroshima Hex.
Wow, it's doing better than I thought.
And Scythe, I think that beats Ashardalon, because for all the fun experiences I've had with Wrath of Ashardalon, I've had lots of fun experiences with Scythe. So I think Scythe's the better game.
Nice.
Ooh, now these are 2 chunky, fun, bright games to have on the table. Things are happening on the table with both of these.
Absolutely.
I think
these are experience games.
These are experience games. It's exactly right. This one, you're crashing into each other. This one's way simpler, but I'm actually going to give it to Joyride.
Okay, nice. We must be coming near the end here. Fresco versus Wrath of Chardalon. I think this is an easy pick for you.
Yeah, I think it's Fresco.
It's got to be Fresco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great experiences each.
War Story versus Dungeons and Dragons.
You know what's funny? I haven't played Wrath of Chardalon in a couple of years because it's not as easy to get to the table.
Right.
So for that, War Story's going to win.
It's on my table right now in the house.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Great Western Trail and Wrath of Chardalon. Again, Great Western Trail is not the easiest to get to the table either, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Wow,
Great
okay.
Western Trail. Oh,
So we have completed. Nice list. Okay, so looking from number 10, Brass Birmingham.
okay.
I did not think it would be that far
Yeah,
down.
Board Game Geek has it wrong, apparently.
9, Dungeons and Dragons. 8, Great Western Trail.
Okay.
7, War Story. 6, Fresco. 5, Joyride.
Okay. Right in the middle.
Neuroshima Hex. Scythe is
Scythe.
number 4. 3 is Neuroshima Hex. 2, War of Whispers. And your favorite game of all time, Command and Colors, Napoleonics. Does this surprise you at all?
The top 4 doesn't surprise me. Joyride Turbo is maybe a little higher than I thought I would have put it, but I mean, I knew where I was picking, sort of thing. And Brass Birmingham being low, I don't have as much plays with that game though to have those great experiences.
That's fair.
So maybe that's why it's like that.
Let's get to the second part of the video now. So I've taken some notes on your original list that you sent me.
Okay.
And so let's just zip over to that.
So this is the 197.
This is the full list, yeah.
Okay.
Now there were some differences because at the time you were just loving Joyride.
I was. Yeah.
So that was at your top, but the top 10 are the same. Now the elephant in the room is that number 14 is Twilight Imperium 4th edition. What happened? I gotta ask you because I thought this would be top 3 for you.
Hard to justify Twilight Imperium. I've been a stalwart champion of it for many years, but at some point when you can only get the game to the table once every other year, it's difficult to keep it in your top list.
Absolutely. I'm also seeing that there's quite a few heavy games in here, but I look at number 12, Hive, number 37, Skull, 46, Patchwork, 49, Love Letter. Love Letter makes your top 50. So why do you have so many light games in these top 50s?
Well, I think
how do you justify that?
I think you're talking about experiences again. I've had great experiences with those games. I've had wonderful moments playing Love Letter with my children, sort of thing. So that definitely pulls it up the list.
That's fair. That's a good rationale. Another game that I noticed didn't even make your list, and I'm personally offended by this because I think I played about 18 games of this with you.
Okay.
Pandemic Season 1 isn't on the list anywhere. Was that a miss? Did you just, or
No,
is that intentional?
I took it off the list. It was one of the ones I deleted. I took it off the list because Pandemic was on there, and I didn't want to compare Pandemic Season 1 versus Pandemic. I was counting Pandemic as all the Pandemics.
Were you? Okay. Because I did notice you had Pandemic Season 0 on here.
Well, I'm nothing if not inconsistent.
That's fair. Okay. Well, I won't hold it against you. If you were to put on Pandemic Season 1 somewhere in your list automatically, where would you put it right now?
Oh, top 20.
Okay,
Top
nice.
20.
Okay, so I'm not off on...
No,
Sensing that you
probably
enjoyed
above
that.
Twilight Imperium now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just a beautiful game.
Now, I feel like I don't even know you because I would have put in your top 5 Gloomhaven. And I have to go all the way down to number 90. Well, there's Formula D. Number 90 for Gloomhaven. And I think you've spent hours, days, months playing... Like, you've played that many times.
I played the campaign 5 times.
Why would you play it so much and have it ranked so low here?
Well, it's ranked low because I played it so much. I don't need it anymore.
You're sick of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a little. It's been enjoyed, and now I'm playing Frosthaven and absolutely loving it. I don't own Frosthaven, that's why it's not on the list.
Right.
But
Okay.
Frosthaven would probably be a little bit higher. But that whole Gloomhaven, I feel like I've done that mechanism, experienced it, and now I'm ready for something new.
That's fair. Okay. So let's look at your games from 100 to 197 for a second.
Okay.
I feel like I'm challenging you a lot here, and you have to justify this, but Splendor is number 128. Let's get down to that one. I've got Coup is number 166. Root is number 154. You're starting to see a theme here. And Wingspan is number 173. These are all games that I love and are probably on my top 10. And they're not even in your top 100. What's going on?
Well, Coup, I play too much of.
Okay.
Way too much. It's a game that I keep in my classroom, and I'm often playing with students when they're ahead and other students are catching up. I remember introducing you to Coup and you realizing I had just lied to you.
Funny and a side note here. This guy plays and he says in the first round, I'm the captain. And everybody's like, I don't know, but we'll let it go. In the second round, he says, I'm the ambassador. We're all like, that's getting fishy. We'll let it go, though. Third round, I'm the Duke. Oh, come on, somebody's got to call this guy. He's not the Duke. Third round, he says he's the assassin. And then we're like, fine, we're calling your bluff. You're not the assassin. Boom, I'm the assassin. So I love the game for that reason.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good. When you can realize that someone's been bluffing at you.
Completely, yeah. And you could just stare them down and say, I'm the Contessa.
That's right.
Call my bluff if you don't believe me.
That's right. But
So
I played it enough. Root has the opposite problem. I haven't played it enough. And I find asymmetric games, heavier asymmetric games, are difficult for me to keep high on the list because the teach can be very challenging. And to really enjoy the game, everybody needs to not just know how to play their faction, but how the other factions play as well.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it is hard to get to the table for that reason. So I'd like to try to convince you to move one game higher up on your list.
Okay.
Number 62
Number 62.
is Undaunted 2200 Callisto, and you've got at number 34, Undaunted Normandy. I feel like Callisto is the better game. There's updated mechanisms. It feels just a little more polished. The sci-fi theme, I know you love space.
Yeah, not played enough. That's just what it comes down to.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I could probably convince you with another player too. Okay,
Another
that's easy.
player too, it can move up.
Moving on, we're on to the final point now. All the way to the bottom of your list, number 197. There must be a story to this game. Oh, and we'll just let people have a look at some of these other picks leading up to it.
Yeah, Wingspan at 173.
Yep. And so we end up with, sorry, we've only got 196 on here. ISS Vanguard.
Well, it would be 197 on a
It would be.
196 thing.
Would it be a 200 on a 200 scale? Huh?
It would be 201. Yeah.
So, okay, I gotta know why, because I know you invested a lot in this game. I know you wanted this game. I wanted this game. I played it with you once,
Yeah.
and you have written it off.
It sits on my shelf like a sore thumb because when I purchased Tainted Grail from Awaken Realms, they included in the Kickstarter package a book previewing that ISS Vanguard was going to come out, and the artwork was gorgeous and it sold me on it right away. I want a space opera where I'm acting as the crew and I'm researching things on the ship and I'm sending away teams and I play the away team and I play on the ship. It checked so many boxes for me. I was so excited. And then I enjoy the ship phase. I really find the planet phase, the exploring phase, boring. It just doesn't...
It's a bit flat for you.
Well, and there's one planet that you land on, without any spoilers, there's one planet you land on and there's nothing to do for like an hour of playtime. With the people we were playing, we were just moving around. We had no reason why to move from one place to another. We were just hoping something would happen.
It's killing time.
Killing time, and then something happened and we all died.
But that's a gorgeous game. Like, those components are absolutely glorious.
Well, Awaken Realms knows how to put a package together. I just fear that with ISS Vanguard, they missed the gameplay and focused too much on the artwork.
That's fair.
And they did a fantastic job with the artwork. And for those people who love ISS Vanguard, I don't disagree with you. I understand why you might like ISS Vanguard, but for me, it just fell far too hard.
Okay. Well, if there's something that YouTube audiences are good at, it's being critical. So we'd like you to take a moment, have a look at his list here, and if you have any thoughts on the placement of his games, please add those comments down below. Gusto would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, get out there.
Get gaming
And be legendary.